Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, we are talking about the top 5 things that motion design studios are looking for when hiring an artist. So let's jump in and see what they are. Okay, so the top 5 things motion design studios are looking for. So I wanted to share this lesson today with you guys because I think it's important. It's something that doesn't necessarily get talked about a lot, and it's essential to all of us. You know, we need work. We need to get into a studio to get paid so we can eat, and there are a bunch of different factors that go into that. So first, I just want to give you a quick background on myself. So hello, my name is Joe, and I'm an art director, but I also am asked to be a motion design guy, particle guy, lots of different things. But you get the idea. So I've been doing this for over 15 years, and along the way, I've learned a lot of things from working with different studios and kind of what they're looking for. That's what I'm hoping to share with you today. If you want to view my professional portfolio, you can see it at makelovely.com. Enough about me, and let's get to it. All right, so first up, I'm so pretty. All right, you guessed it. Your portfolio, it is the first thing that people are going to see when they are looking, if they are thinking about hiring you. Think of it as your calling card. It's what gets you in the door. I kind of like to think of it as it's a first date. You know, it's there's usually that mutual attraction, and then over time that attraction turns into other things, which we'll cover later. But if you're buying a car, you know, you wanna, do I like the way this car looks? Is usually the first thing you think, and then you kind of move on from there. Also, does your style align with the studio and client's aesthetic? So a lot of times when they're looking at your portfolio, they're going to say, you know, does this match? Does this align with our studio? You know, a studio like Buck, for instance, has a very specific style that they want to maintain, and it's become a brand for them. But that's not always the case. That it's their style that they're trying to adhere to. A lot of times, it's the client's style too. So you know, the mill might be doing a commercial that doesn't necessarily fit in their portfolio, but for what the client's looking for, your portfolio might work for that project. So it's not always about just a studio, it's also about can you match the client's um, aesthetic. And then also, you know, being current and trendy isn't always important. Okay, so once again, you know, the big companies like Buck and all them, they do have a look and they're super trendy and that is a look, but that stuff only works in certain for certain brands or for certain projects. You know, not every project requires a trendy look to it. So it's okay to not necessarily have the most current trendy things in your portfolio. So, all right, moving on to number 4. Okay, so you can create pretty pictures. Is that it? All right, so your skill set. A lot of times your skill set factors in just as much as your actual visual portfolio, right? Because our jobs are not just to create pretty pictures. We have to have the technical skills to match that. Most of the time, we're dealing with technical problems and we're dealing with day-to-day issues that might arise. And also to create these pretty pictures, you need to have skills that are technical. That's just how it is. Unless you're drawing pictures or unless you're painting, or unless you're just like a creative director that's going around and doing most of the talking and explaining to the client of how the project's going and how it's going to work. Most of the time, you do need these skills to move you forward in getting hired. So having said that, it is very important to be able to own these technical skills, and it's something that the client does look for. You know, like can they hang? You know, do you use the same tools that we use at our studio? So chances are, if a studio uses Maya and you use Cinema 4D, that's probably not going to be a good match. Now, there are cases where they might be flexible and they might say, okay, we really like your work. We'll make it happen. We'll get a copy of Cinema 4D and we'll make it happen. But most of the time, it's just not the case. I mean, if you're applying to a studio that uses Nuke and you're an After Effects guy, you're probably not gonna you're gonna be put to the bottom of the list. So it's also something that's super important. All right, number three, you cost how much? All right, so your price. Now, this one falls right in the middle because I feel that your price is important, but I find that eh, everything else goes either above or below it. It's not your deciding factor. So just because you're really cheap or you're really expensive doesn't necessarily mean that you will or won't get the job. But we also have to keep in mind too that studios are a business. You know, they have a payroll that they have to pay every month. They have budgets typically for these jobs. So let's say a job comes in that's a budget of $10,000, and your booking is going to cost them 7,000. But then we have another person who is going to have the same skill set and roughly the same portfolio, and they're only going to cost them 5,000. Well, most likely they're going to go with the person that's cheaper, and it's just common sense. I mean, we all would. But on the flip side, you also are a business too. So what does that mean? That means that you also have to have standards for yourself, and you have to make sure that your rate, you're charging what you're worth. Okay, so whether it's a full-time position or a freelance position, make sure that you're getting what you feel you're worth. Okay, and because it's crucial to all of us because we all kind of work together, right? So if we're all charging a fair rate and not undercutting each other, then we're all going to be stronger together. We're all going to get a bigger piece of the pie, if you will. Um, so it's important to talk with your colleagues about, what they make if they're comfortable, obviously. What their salary is, what their rate is, because this is all information that we need to know. Because studios care about bottom line. I mean, that's plain and simple. Of course, they want to make good work, and I'm sure they care about you too. But at the end of the day, they want money in their pocket, because without it, they probably wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't have, the office and the big fancy artwork everywhere and whatnot. So it's important to talk with your colleagues about salary and their rates. It's not a taboo topic. That's what I always stress to people. Talk about what you make, and that makes us stronger together. Now, having said that, it is still okay to take a discount sometimes. So, if you really want to work with a studio and they just don't quite have, let's say your day rate is 600 and they can only afford to pay you 500, really think about that. If this is a studio that you really want to work with, or if this is a really great project, or if you just truly believe that these guys are nice people and they're not slime bags, I guess, then think about giving them a discount because I promise it'll come back in your favor if you do that. It's karma, and they will remember that. So don't always be dead set on your rates. All right, number two, just give a shit. So dedication. All right, this one to me is very important because I find that it's a mixed bag. You get a lot of people that really, really care, and then you get a lot of people that are just kind of hum ho about the whole thing, and it's just a job. So I get it. Some jobs aren't perfect. Most jobs aren't perfect. Most jobs are not going to be something for your portfolio. That's just the reality of it. But it's important that you always care about the project that you're on because you're getting paid for it. And they don't have to hire you, and they're going to remember if you don't care. I mean, me, when I'm looking together to put together a team, I'm going to go for the guy or girl that cares the most and obviously can produce nice work. But if you care about that job, chances are you're going to produce nice work. It's just they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, if you want to make something great, you probably will. So just care about the project even if you don't, because I promise you it'll turn out better and you're more likely to get hired again. So very important. Hard work will always outweigh pretty pictures. I will always hire the person that can give me 110% rather than just create a pretty picture with an attitude. Pretty pictures with an attitude do not work. They might work for some people, but long term, that's not someone I want on my team. Okay, number one, don't be a dick. Please, please don't be a dick. All right. Are you easy to work with? Are you easy to work with? This is so important. I can't tell you how many people can be difficult to work with, or going back to number two, just don't give a shit. Um, so, first and foremost, at least in my book, egos are not welcome at a studio. All right. If I'm at a studio and I'm looking to put together a team, I don't care how good your work is, unless you're specifically requested by the client. If you have an ego, if you've got an attitude, if you think that you are God's gift to the world, then I'm 99% sure that you won't be on our team. Because it's like oil and water. It puts one person can bring an entire team down. So you really want to make sure that it's okay to be good, it's okay to be confident, it's okay to love what you do and to be proud of what you do. Just don't be arrogant about it. Just be humble about it, and know that we are all in the same boat together. I think I skipped one. So I always ask myself, can I work with this person every day? Is this someone that is pleasant to be with? Would I want to have lunch with this person? And at the end of the day, it's on paper, it's not about that, but it really is. I mean, if you think about it, you spend probably more time with your coworkers than you do with your family. I mean, when I come home from work, I get maybe 3 hours a day with my family before we have to start getting ready for bed. Whereas with my coworkers, I'm spending sometimes up to 10, 11 hours a day with them. So it's very important that I can work with this person every single day. And just, remember that you're not a one man show. Most great work is not created by a single person, at least in this industry. We're a team, we're a unit. We all work together and we all have the same goal. We should all have the same goal, which is to try to make the best product possible. Even if it's not necessarily our style, that's what we're here to do, and we're a team. We're here to create great work. So just remember, it's not all about you. It's a team. It's a team game. It's a sports team, if you will, and all the pieces of the puzzle should fit together. And I will leave you with this final thoughts that being nice will always be the best piece in your portfolio. So that's going to do it for today, guys. I hope that this lesson was helpful for you. I wanted to try something a little different because I know that sometimes finding this information online can be hard, if not impossible. And really, the only way to get it is to actually be in studios for months or years, and then over time, you start to learn it. So as always, if you have any further questions, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to write you back and answer them. And I will see you on the next one.